Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Critical Mass. We decided to look at some, well, not big hit movies, but movies that are kind of spoofs of those big hit movies. And they actually turned into hits themselves. We're talking about those Leslie Nielsen kind of films like Naked Guns that just make fun of police movies and things like that. So we picked 3 of them, and we're going to go over them and see, do they still stand up today? Alrighty, the first movie is the one out of the 3 of them that we decided we liked the most ourselves, and it's the most rewatchable. And Paul, we decided that was Airplane. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, okay. The incidentals are, it's a movie that came out in 1980. It was made by Jim Abrams, Jerry Zucker, and David Zucker. And you're going to have to remember these names because they're going to pop up frequently in this video. It was the 4th top grossing movie of 1980. And it starred a bunch of big people, but they weren't comedy actors. They were straight actors. And then they put them all into this comedy. And so you got Robert Hayes, Julia Haggerty, Leslie Nielsen, Lloyd Bridges. And the movie is based on a movie called 0 Hour. And I think it's an old black and white. I haven't seen it. But these 3 guys came and they decided to make this off-the-wall, quirky comedy that's just full of sight gags and weird dialogue comedy. Mark, you mentioned a couple of there. What were those?
Like a couple of the gags they did?
Yeah.
Oh, when they invite the little boy into the cockpit and he starts off, he says, well, have you ever seen the cockpit of an airplane before, Timmy? Have you ever been in a Turkish prison, Timmy?
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Just jokes like that keep coming back. Jokes like, you can't be serious, surely. Don't call me Shirley. It's jokes that you've said to your kids 100 times, but this is where it comes from.
It is a movie that's just full of sight gags and one-liners. There's really not much of a script. The script is probably 4 pages long, and the rest is all one-liners and sight gags.
Every scene in this movie is a joke or setting up a joke.
It's really funny because you just listen to what they say, and they will take whatever is said and they'll turn it on its head to the most ridiculous possible variation. So everybody assumed crash positions, and so people are throwing themselves all around the plane as though the plane has crashed.
Yeah.
You know?
Or when the lady starts, they're trying to calm her down, and the guy starts taking her, calm down, and the next person goes up to her, starts, calm down, and it goes down this line of people waiting, and they have gangsters with clubs with their hands, motorcycle guys. Even the nuns are back there sitting there waiting to start beating on this lady. So
everybody who had fish for dinner was starting to fall ill, including the pilot, including everybody in the cockpit area. And so they're conversing with the doctor, and the doctor says, "We got to get everybody to a hospital." They said, a hospital? What is it? It's a building with patients, but that's not important right now. It's great jokes.
If you were going to a comedy club and somebody was telling you jokes like that, you would just look at them and go like this and walk out. But in the movie, it's actually funny.
I watched an interview with all the cast, and it was done a few years ago. And Leslie Nielsen was saying that all of these straight-laced actors from other movies came and they did the lines, and they didn't know that these lines were funny. But when they did a test screening for the media types, everybody was falling on their sides in stitches, laughing their heads off. He goes, "Oh my God, that was funny. I didn't know."
That's the best thing a comedy writer can say, is I wrote something and I didn't know it was funny. Yeah, I meant to write that. I meant that. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. All right.
I watched this for this video, and I thought, okay, it's going to be one of those old movies. I don't really like watching older movies, and I was laughing my head off.
Me too.
Definitely holds up today.
All right, you agree, Mark?
In fact, if you haven't seen it, or if you have not seen it in a long time, give it another shot. Watch it.
Okay, I'll agree to that. All right, Mark, tell us about Top Secret. What do you think? A little bit about the
Top Secret with 10-year-old Val Kilmer. That's what we're talking about. In my opinion, like, there were some funny things in this movie, a good spoof movie, but I don't think it holds up to today's standard. I watched it, and a lot of the jokes that I remember laughing at when I originally saw this movie, I sort of sat and okay, that was decent. Like the dance scene, when he's up on the table and he's doing his little Elvis moves, that sort of, right?
He does sing a lot in this movie. I didn't remember how many times he sung in this movie, but he sings a lot in this movie.
If I'm not mistaken, that's really him singing.
Yeah, it is.
So he's got a decent voice. Well, yeah, I mean, he did a decent job at it.
So what did you think of it, Paul? Well, first of all, what's the premise of the movie?
Okay, so there's a Nazi regime taking over Europe, and they have a bunch of celebrities coming to town to kind of distract the world through media so that they can do their big plan. And one of those celebrities is American heartthrob Nick Rivers. And he gets there and he gets embroiled in some kind of spy drama.
And that's basically the movie, guys.
And that tactic is still used by politicians today.
Yeah. What pandemic? Well, I watched that movie, and I remember I must have rented that back in the day, like tons of times, because at the time, Sylvie used to like to really love that movie. She would watch it all the time. I keep thinking of the dumb cow walking with the boots on in the field. It's just that's what I remember of the movie when you said we're going to review the movie, and that's what I remembered.
I'm pretty sure that's the picture on the VHS cover.
It is, yeah. So when I watched it again, I noticed, well, this movie relies a little bit on making, the audience having known some of the other movies it was spoofing to make it funny. Like the whole Blue Lagoon scene with the girl and the spy, and he turns out to be one of the, the underground guys at the end, and he's this big blonde-haired Afro guy, and it's just...
You know what? That is. I'll give you that. That's true, because when I was watching it, I remember thinking to myself, "This is spoofing a lot of movies that are not current enough for people to catch on to."
No, especially a younger crowd, especially would be going, "I don't understand. And without that reference to Blue Lagoon, that joke line doesn't hold up as much.
Now, the movie was made by the same three guys that made Airplane.
Well, they made a career of just doing these kind of movies.
Yeah. So the exact same three guys. I thought Val Kilmer did a great job in this movie. Like Mark, I remember you were saying that you thought Val Kilmer could have had a sensational career and he just lost it. And
he could have. I think he could have done a lot better than he actually ended up doing.
Yeah, like I watched him in this and I said, wow, he is a heartthrob in this. Like he had the singing, the suave good looks. He could have done stuff, but I don't know what happened to him.
Didn't have a very good agent, I guess.
No, I think he went through like a personal depression or something, and that sort of threw him off track. But I think he could have been as big as Tom Cruise is. But
that's pretty hefty boots to fill.
Okay, but
there's no actor out there right now that can compete with Tom Cruise, let alone...
Think of Tom Cruise and the way that he was during movies like Risky Business. Okay, he had the same suave, debonair kind of air about him as Val Kilmer had in Top Secret.
We'll disagree on this. I think Tom Cruise had that level above. Just like when you watch Star Wars, Harrison Ford has that level above the other actors he's acting with. You can tell he's going to go on to bigger things. What's that?
Now, absolutely. As the years have gone on, Tom Cruise took on bigger roles, better roles. He kept improving himself. No, he kept improving himself. Well, Val Kilmer didn't. You got to remember, Val Kilmer was chosen to play Batman at one time.
He was Batman, and it wasn't very good.
It was, for its time, it was okay. Now, if you look back and say, well, yeah, it wasn't great now.
Yeah, well, but for its time, a rough step. We digress. We're going off on tangents. We'll talk about that topic later. Stars that should have been better than they are now.
As a movie, while Airplane was the 4th top-grossing movie, this one was 45th.
Yeah.
So while the first one had a nice long story that parodied a single movie, this one didn't parody a movie. It parodied a genre. And like a Beach Boys singing spy movie wasn't a big movie to take off of, right? So it wasn't as successful.
It was a risk that they took. However, in the long run, I think the risk paid off, because there was there was a time for these types of movies. Like there was and it was a short window, but there was a time when this type of movie ruled comedy.
They're still out there. We're on to Scary Movie 6.
Yeah, but nobody's watching that.
Well, they are still doing 6. So, all right. We have one last one, Hotshots. Basically, it is a spoof with Charlie Sheen in it, and it is spoofing off the Top Gun series. Although it starts off a little different. It almost starts off like Rambo 2, where he's already left and he's been left the Navy and he's running his own thing. He's living with the natives, and a soldier comes up and meets him and tucks him back into coming into the. Well, that's not Top Gun. No, in Top Gun, he's a fighter already.
It starts off with the girl on horseback, and he's watching her on the horseback, and he starts doing all the same tricks on his motorcycle.
Yeah, but that's almost 30 minutes into the movie, though. We have the whole plane crash with his father at the beginning, and what happens there, and then we go meet him out in the natives, and then he meets the general. The general brings him back, and then he gets to meet his guys again, and he sees the girl on his way back in. So it's a Top Gun spinoff, and they do a classic fighting scene at the end from an aircraft carrier on a secret mission. Again, though, it's a lot of sight gags and one-liners, although there still is some pretty big names in this one. Like Charlie Sheen at the time was a up-and-coming rising star. We also had, I keep forgetting, Gary Elves there?
Gary Elwes.
Elwes there from Princess Bride's fame. So he, some pretty solid actors in this movie. Although as I'm watching it, I'm chuckling at some things and this, the side jokes. Most of the jokes are actually from people in the background. So like something happens in the front and then something happens off screen and it's a reaction to what this person just did. Like
I didn't realize when I was watching it like the second time around, I didn't realize that his co-star from 2.5 Men is in this movie.
Yeah.
What's his name? Cryer or something?
John Cryer.
Yeah. What is it? Sorry?
John Cryer.
Yeah. I saw him and I was like, oh, okay, that's where they've worked together before. But the movie was funny. I know it was a lot of sight gags. I found it was funny. But is it one of those ones that I would tell people, yeah, if you've got to watch this one if you haven't seen it? Probably not. Not like Airplane.
I don't know, man. Like Lloyd Bridges in this, man. He was just epic. He was the funniest part of this movie. The way he's in charge of the aircraft carrier, and he doesn't even have one brain cell in his head.
He keeps falling down the stairs and makes up. Oh, careful, son! Don't hit me on there. There's nothing up here, and he puts something in between his ears, and he goes like this. There's nothing there.
What was it he said? He said, I've flown 139 flights and I've never landed a plane or something like that. It was funny. It was so hilarious. I laughed. You know what? It's hard to believe that. I mean, Charlie Sheen. Going back this far, Charlie Sheen. He actually had something. Like he was really good at one time, and I don't know. He's gone off the rails now. I know. He's not. Winning. He's not quite the same Charlie Sheen as he was back then.
Hard drugs will do that to a person.
But he really, really had something back then.
Well, look, he was in Wall Street.
Michael
Douglas.
The baseball one.
The baseball one.
Major League.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's had some great roles. And he even made a spinoff of Hotshots, Hotshots Part 2. More of a Rambo spinoff.
Which is arguably even funnier than the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually improved on it. If you actually watch Hotshots, and when they're pulling up the planes in the aircraft carrier and you get a close-up shot, you can tell that it's something that they blew up and is like on a golf cart and it's just driving on a golf cart. It's a blow-up airplane. Like you can tell it's full of air. You can literally see it's full of air. It's just, but that's part of the fun of those kind of movies. But out of the three of them, I would rank it Airplane as the one to see, Hot Shots second, and then I'm afraid Top Secret would be my third choice.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'd say so. But I don't think Top Secret was a complete flop of a movie. I still enjoyed watching it again.
Yeah,
it was funny.
I found I got bored longer into the movie. At the beginning, I was really interested into it, and it's like when he's first going into Germany and all that, and then as the whole Blue Lagoon scenarios started happening and all, I started getting bored of it. So
yeah, but there are so many jokes in Airplane. Honestly, just sit down with a bowl of popcorn and give that a watch again, because you're gonna cry. And even if you've seen it in the past and you think you remember it, watch it, because every single time you watch that movie, there's something new, almost in every scene.
Well, there you go. That's our recommendation out of the three of them. Why not check them out, or why not tell us what spin-off movies do you like? Are you a fan of Scary Movie? The first one was pretty good. I remember laughing my head off at that one. Blazing Saddles is a perfect example of a spoof on Westerns. So yeah, let us know what you think is a good spoof movie. Let us know in the comments down below. And well, until next time, we'll see you on the channel.